Just send us a request, please. Let's see if we can click. Sometimes we're not able to click. We're not able to pick it up from our side. Awesome. There we go. We got some time. Hi, Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. How are you?
We're so happy to see you.
So we were trying to set up, it takes quite a bit of time.
Yeah.
You put in anxiety about this.
I'm so sorry.
I can't see properly here, Now it's much better.
What about this?
Wait.
There we go.
Why don't you put it here and then it's...
It makes you dark.
What is it?
Thanks, beautiful Manji.
It's dark where we are, so we're trying to figure out,
We can see you. It's good. It's good. Thank you so much for making a plan to spend time with us. We appreciate it.
No, it's fine. It's fine. The Sunday program just ended right now, so...
We're stealing time, but we're very appreciative of it.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. That's fine. So how is this gonna work? You ask me questions or I just speak?
It's an interview, so it'll be a back and forth. We'll ask some questions. It's just a conversation, Mahaprabhu.
Yeah.
Oh.
We're just calling into Soweto and we're talking to you.
First class. I was thinking of the Etiquette one.
Awesome.
Okay. So you tell me when you are ready.
We're ready, we're live, and we're ready to go.
Okay. Just 1 minute. Yeah, so there was just the noise behind, so. Okay, if you're ready, I'm ready.
Okay. So Hare Krishna everyone, and thank you so much for joining us on this Sunday evening. We're very excited to have Mahaprabhu with us. He's a very senior Bhakti yoga practitioner, and he's actually been practicing Bhakti yoga for about 33 years. And he formally took initiation from a spiritual master in 1989. And he's played an integral role in the development of Bhakti practice in Soweto and Food for Life, as well as the Soweto Festival of Chariots as well. And he's also been the vice president of the Hillbrow Temple. And he also gives really incredible classes on Bhakti philosophy, and he leads amazing kirtan. He's also a dad and a husband, and he's really taken a special place in the hearts of South African Bhakti Yoga practitioners, because they really gained a lot of inspiration from you. So we're really excited and grateful for you to have made some time for us today. So this Sunday program, Prabhu, is all about, it's called Bhakti Journey. And basically, it's all about how you've actually come to Bhakti, how you've come to practicing Bhakti. So if you'd like to share with us how it is that you got introduced to the practice and what has inspired you to keep on going for all of these years, actually.
Wow. Anyway, long story, but to cut it short, it's a long story indeed, but just to cut it short, I was born and brought up in Soweto, and I think you know what it means to be born in Soweto and brought up in Soweto, with all the things that happened here in Soweto, the Soweto uprising, the necklacing period. Soweto uprising was in 1976, and the necklacing period was in the 80s, early 80s actually, 81, like that, and, yes, I've been through all those things. I've experienced all those things. And, but the worst one was the necklacing period. I don't know whether you know what I mean by necklacing period. It's quite a period, because, I mean, the Soweto uprising was much more better because you know who you were fighting with, the whites of this country, because they were ill-treating us, basically. But the necklacing period, you didn't know who you're fighting with. Your own brother, your own sister, can really like betray you. I mean, it was crazy because you don't know who you're fighting with. At that time, it was Inkatha against ANC, and we were fighting amongst each other. And the white minority of this country were using the Inkatha to kill all the ANC youth. They were using the Inkatha to kill all the ANC youth. So they were targeting above 16 years old, they were targeting them, and then they were killing them. And actually, it was bad because you lock yourself inside the house, but still it wasn't safe. So you don't know who you are fighting with. And then believe me, we used to buy even guns, even AK-47. I had an AK-47 myself, even a gun for that matter. I had it just to protect ourselves. And you could buy it in the street, next to nothing. You could get it free, or you can buy it with 5 rands or 6 rands. It was very cheap, And then we used to protect ourselves that way anyway, So, yeah. And then at the end of the necklacing period in the 83, 84, then, it started dawning in my heart that actually politics is no answer at all. Politics is just no answer at all, And I started looking into other avenues, trying to find some solution into this problem that we find ourselves in, and, I started thinking religion maybe has an answer in this regard, and I was born a Christian, but I had a lot of unanswered questions in my mind, and then when I used to ask the Christians, it's very amazing because in the Christian world, when you ask questions in a church, they find it very weird. You can't ask questions. You just have to listen, them giving you the sermon and telling you what to do, but you can't ask questions, And then I find it very weird, and then I started looking into other avenues. So in that regard, I became a Muslim,
I never knew this. Wow.
Surprisingly, yes, I became a Muslim because my cousin's sister was married to a Muslim guy. So he used to discuss these things, and I used to listen to him, and I became attracted, So I became a Muslim, not for long, for less than a couple of weeks or even months. Maybe about 2 months at the most, maybe, And then I met one gentleman in Forsbeek. In his shop, he was selling some few things, and then I wanted to buy one of those things. So I went into a shop, and then there inside, there was no one. And I waited there, and then I was calling, is there anybody who can help me? Nobody was helping me. And I was wondering, what is this owner of this shop thinking? I mean, I can steal everything here and just go away, you know? And this guy is not around. And then I waited there maybe for about 15 or 20 minutes. And suddenly, he came out of the curtains, you know? And then I asked him, I said, you know, I mean, I was waiting here for a couple of minutes, you know? I mean, if you're not around,
We can't hear you, Mahaprabhu. We can't hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah, we can't hear.
We can't hear you. Can anyone tell us whether they can hear us or can hear Mahaprabhu?
I don't know. I think it's something from this side.
There we go.
sorry, the battery is getting low. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
unfortunately. And then I'm just worried about it. So I'm calling my daughter to come through.
Sure.
You know,
Manjari to the rescue.
We've
She's
got
my
it.
child is the rescue there. Yes, the battery is low.
Her services are
Hey,
in
Manji.
express
We've got ours.
Hi, Bob.
Why don't you connect it with charging?
I don't have a charger.
Okay,
Okay.
let me see how far I can go because the battery is very low, right? We're supposed to use my phone, but now it was giving Manjari some problems. So we connected it to Manjari's phone. So that's where the problem is.
And I don't have a charger.
Manji.
Anyway, let's see how far we can go, right? So
Okay.
yes, somebody had I changed into, I became a Hindu, by the way. And then I visited a temple in Indonesia called Rameshwar Temple. I don't know whether you know it. You know, I went there, and then somebody had, again, I was asking quite a lot of questions. And then, you know, some of them, they couldn't answer me correctly, satisfactorily, you know. And then somebody other, you know, one guy told me, said, you can do good in Hare Krishna movement. And I thought, oh, another religion again, my God. And then I thought, no more religion now. I don't want any religion. So I became an atheist. You know, I became
This is the most interesting Bhakti journey I have ever had.
I became an atheist, you know. And then somebody, I went on for some times. And I remember one time walking in the streets of Joburg, you know, on a Saturday morning. And I saw quite an amazing scene. One devotee, his name was Temba. I don't know whether you know Temba. He was from around Hammarsdale in the KZN. You know, he was distributing some books. And then I became interested. And then I went to him. And then I purchased the book, Science of Self-Realization. And then surprisingly, before this period, I did everything under the sun. I'm sorry, but anyway, it is true. I did everything under the sun. I was drinking, I was smoking, and then I experienced some drugs even for that matter. You know, and then it was very difficult to stop these things, and especially cigarette. You know, drugs and marijuana, it was easy to stop that, but cigarette and drinking was not easy, you know. And some or the other, I purchased this book, Science of Self-Realization from Temba. And then on my way back in the taxi, I just opened the book roughly, and Srila Prabhupada was discussing about the 4 regulative principles, you know. And then I was reading there, you know, and as I was reading, I became convinced that actually, I don't want to smoke again. I don't want to drink again. Because surprisingly, prior to this, I stopped smoking for about a year. I went back. I started smoking again. I stopped drinking for about 6 months. I went back again. It was just to and fro, sometimes 2 months, and then I went back again. It was just to and fro. You know, but when I read Science of Self-Realization, and Prabhupada was hinting on these 4 regulative principles, I became convinced I don't want these things anymore. And believe me, since then until now, I never smoked, I never drank, surprisingly. By Srila Prabhupada's mercy, actually, And then, yeah, that's how I came to Krishna Consciousness, basically,
That's an amazing journey.
I mean, I'm cutting the story short. It's quite long, but I'm cutting short because the battery is low and it can be problematic, But I don't know. If you want to ask some more questions, I don't know.
And so you formally accepted a spiritual master in 89, I think it was, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And so
No,
so
not in 89. I think I joined in 87, as I said, right? Yeah, I joined in 87, early 87. It was around about January, February when I joined. And then somehow or other, one devotee, his name is Rupa Raghunath. I met him a little later after that, after being introduced to Krishna Consciousness, after reading a couple of books, actually, not only Science of Self-Realization, Bhagavad Gita, Nectar of Devotion, and Krishna book. Those are the first books that I read. And then some of the other Rupa Raghunath, I got introduced to Rupa Raghunath. And then Rupa Raghunath, I think it was almost like 3 months or 4 months later, after I read Science of Self-Realization. And what happened is that Rupa Raghunath, when I met him, then he suggested to me that he wants to come and do a house program here in Soweto, the first house program in Soweto. So I agreed. And then on that first day when he came with Giriraj Maharaj, my Guru Maharaj. And believe me, I didn't know that he's a guru, right? I didn't know that he's a guru. I read from the books, Science of Self-Realization, Bhagavad Gita about the guru. But how to recognize a guru, I didn't know. So Rupa Raghunath came with him, and then we sat in the room and discussing. I invited some of my friends. They came around and then they discussed a little bit. And after that, everything just, went smoothly. And then they left back to the temple. I stayed behind, still not knowing that Giriraj Maharaj is a guru. So a week later, the following Sunday, I decided to visit the temple. It was in Melder Street, outside Krugersdorp. So I went there on a Sunday. When I arrived there, and then somebody that was standing outside, and then Giriraj Maharaj appeared. He was going to give a talk in the temple. And now this time, when he appeared, he had a danda. When he came to Soweto, he didn't have a danda, right? And of course, still, I didn't know whether a guru holds a danda or he doesn't hold a danda. I don't know. But he appeared differently this time. And then he came out coming to give a talk. And then all the devotees, they just paid obeisances, all of them. They paid obeisances to him. And I didn't know, I was just standing there, not knowing what to do, whether I should do that or I shouldn't do that. I didn't know, And some of the other Rupa Raghunath said, hey, bow down, bow down. And I went down, I bowed down. And then Maharaj was still coming towards us. And then he stopped right at where I was paying obeisances. When I stood up, he was right next to me. And he said, thank you for coming. And he said, you coming to the temple? I said, yes. I went to the temple. He gave a talk. And then at the end of the talk, I asked Rupa Raghunath, I said, who is he? And then he said, he's a guru. And then immediately I thought to myself, if I have to take spiritual life very seriously, he will be my guru. And of course, he became my guru anyway, So that was it, yes.
If I can ask a question, Mahaprabhu, for me, you are the emblem of endurance. You're the. For me, I feel like you're the marathon man. Because you've taken things for a long haul.
Say it again.
I said, for me, it seems like you are the emblem of endurance.
Okay.
It's like you're for the long haul. You get many people who are there for short sprints, but then you get somebody who's there for the long haul. So I really would like to know, what has kept you all these years as a devotee? Surely there's been so many reasons in life in general where you may have made a different choice. But what has kept you all these years? Because you have this solidity about you. It's like, if the sun's going to shine, the seasons are going to change, and Mahaprabhu is going to be there. so how do we? So tell me, what's your secret there?
Well, I mean, one thing I remember when I joined Krishna Consciousness, I joined under the able guidance of very senior Prabhupada's disciples, one of which is Medhavi Prabhu. I think you all know him, from Cape Town. Medhavi Prabhu was there, Nanda Kumar was around, Adhikata from England was around, Pranavadaba, the late Pranavadaba, they are all Prabhupada's disciples. They were here in South Africa. Pranavadaba, there were quite a lot of them were around, and then I got to associate with them a lot. And I remember, Pranavadaba, or even Adhikata, I think it's Adhikata, yes. One time Adhikata told me and said, Mahaprabhu, if you want to be a devotee, there's one thing that I will tell you that will make you to be a long-standing devotee. And I asked him, I said, what is it? He said, you respect the devotees regardless. He said, respect the devotees regardless. Whatever it takes, just respect the devotees. They can put in problems or they can ridicule you or whatever the case may be. Respect them. Some of them just maybe not associate with them, respect them from a distance, but in essence is that don't offend devotees, respect the devotees. And one thing that he told me, said in all of the what you call the songs of the Vaishnava Acharyas, all the songs of, not all, but most of them, he told me that there's a warning, that don't offend the devotees. And surprisingly, when I started getting into the songs of the Vaishnava Acharya, I saw there is always a warning, don't offend the devotees. Vaishnava Aparat, Sadhu Ninda, it's paramount important for you as a devotee to stay in the movement. Ever since then, I'm trying. I know sometimes it's very difficult for me, but I'm always trying. I'm not saying I'm there already and I'm respecting the devotees, but within my heart, I'm trying to respect the devotees as much as I can, so that I don't offend them, because I know this is the root cause of all the problems that you may have in ISKCON or as a devotee, So I'm trying by all means myself to respect the devotees. I don't know, maybe it is the thing that has kept me so long in ISKCON. But, speaking from experience, from what Adhikata said then, and I'm trying very hard myself to just do that, And then also, I know, Srila Prabhupada said, my books will keep you in ISKCON. If you don't read Srila Prabhupada's books, you are really in a dangerous position. That much I can say. Srila Prabhupada's movement, they keep us in ISKCON. Service in ISKCON keeps you happy, but the books, they keep you in ISKCON. But service keeps you happy. So basically, that's what I can say, If you do a lot of service, just do service. Whatever it takes, do some service, you will be happy. But the books will keep you in ISKCON, because they will tell you about the onslaughts of material nature, what material nature is all about, and how to keep you alive in spiritual life. Basically, I could say that.
Wow. That's such a powerful answer, Mahaprabhu. It would take my life to follow it.
Thank you. If that is the case, thank you very much.
But 33 years of practicing, what literature has inspired you the most, would you say?
What really inspired me mostly?
Literature.
What literature? Like, was it Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita?
Okay. To tell you the truth, Chaitanya Charitamrita, because it is a culture of Krishna consciousness. If you want to know the culture of Krishna consciousness and how to treat the devotees, Chaitanya Charitamrita is a book. I mean, we can read other books, they're okay. you know, even Srimad Bhagavatam, you know, I mean, they say Srimad Bhagavatam is for Paramahamsas, you know. I mean, but Chaitanya Charitamrita to me is a culture, you know, because if you look at it actually, you know, what makes us survive more in ISKCON is the culture. You know, people will like us because of the culture. You know, if we don't imbibe the culture of Krishna consciousness, I think this ISKCON movement will go nowhere. It will just go nowhere. We have to imbibe the culture of Krishna consciousness, you know. And then if we are practicing the culture and we are modeling ourselves correctly, you know, then only then can we attract the people. People will read the books out there, and then the books are fantastic. But if they come to the movement and they find that the people that are practicing what is written in the books is quite the opposite, they won't stay in ISKCON. They just won't stay. You know, in order for us to keep the people coming here and staying longer in ISKCON, is for us who are already here practicing the culture correctly. And if we want to practice the culture correctly, Chaitanya Charitamrita is the book. To me, that is a book.
Mahaprabhu, I have this burning question. You know, I want to know, you're saying respect the devotees, you know, and, you know, as for someone who's living in a devotional community, I know why that's easy sometimes and why that's difficult sometimes, you know. So when you're saying respect the devotees, what does it mean? You know, what does it mean to respect spiritual practitioners? Does it, does it mean that if I feel differently, I keep quiet? You know, does it mean that I just offer my obeisances and bow down and sort of tolerate everything? What does it mean?
So one thing that I've learned over the years is that Krishna consciousness is all about gratitude. Actually, it's gratitude and appreciation. Nothing more, really, to say the least about it, you know. I mean, if you look about it, we wake up early in the morning. What are we doing? We're chanting the, what you call the Guru Vastakam prayers. Is appreciating Srila Prabhupada, isn't it? And then 7 o'clock Arti, you know, again, we're appreciating Srila Prabhupada Guru Pooja, you know. And then there's also Vyasa Pujas that we do for our Guru Maharajas, you know. Again, appreciation and gratitude, you know. And then Prabhupada said, most of our advancement is based on association. What happens in that association without gratitude and appreciation? I mean, it's nothing really, you know. When you come into the association of the devotees, there's only two things that are happening there: gratitude and appreciation. And if that happens, then the mood becomes sweet. You know, the mood becomes sweet easily if we appreciate one another and become grateful. We have to be grateful of what Srila Prabhupada has given us. Prabhupada has given us the association of the devotees. We have to be grateful of that. And then, I mean, Prabhupada said, most of our advancement is based on association. You know, if we want to be advanced, that means we have to learn. It may be difficult, but we have to learn to live with one another. We have to learn how to associate with one another. Because if we don't do that, believe me, we're going to lose one another. We are important to Srila Prabhupada. We are important to ISKCON. We are important to the disciplic succession. You know? And I think the gurus, they want to see how we associate with one another. If we associate with one another very nicely, the gurus, they become happy. And if our gurus are happy, Srila Prabhupada is happy. If Srila Prabhupada is happy, then what you call the divine couple is happy. You know, I mean, what more do we want really, you know? And I mean, yeah, I would say that, you know, for me, over the years, you know, I've learned, I wouldn't say I've learned, I'm still learning, you know, how to appreciate the devotees, how to be grateful of what Srila Prabhupada has given us, you know. I mean, Srila Prabhupada spent, I mean, sleepless nights. For who? For me and you. Even he turned against his own family. For who? For me and you. You know, just so that he spread the movement all over the world. You know, so we have to be grateful of that, really. I mean, that's basically what I can say.
Thank you.
don't know, what do we ask after that?
I mean, Krishna consciousness is such an amazing process, you know. It's very, very amazing process. I don't want to tell lies. It is very amazing process, you know. But it depends on us, what we put in, you know. It depends on us what we put in, you know. Otherwise, if we don't do like that, we start to find faults, you know, and see faults in others, you know, and start criticizing. Like, if we put a cup of water here, and then you add some water into the cup, you know, so long as the cup is not full, the water will stay. But if the cup becomes full, then it overflows. So similarly, our minds, you know, so long as there's a vacuum in our minds, you know, Maya will stay. Maya will stay in our minds, you know. But if we fill our minds with Krishna consciousness, then when Maya comes in, there's no space there. He goes out immediately. You know? So in other words, we have to keep our minds engaged all the time. If our minds are engaged, then everything becomes easy, you know? So yeah, that's what I can say again.
Sure. You know that. You know, it's just so powerful what you're saying, you know. And I think that like it's purity that comes across, because you can hear these things day in and day out, but with the purity of what you're saying, it makes it very powerful, like, you know. And that's what
Oh,
you
you're cutting. You're cutting. I can't hear you properly.
Oh.
Maybe it's off the signal.
Uh-huh. Okay, I was saying that, I don't see Jenny now, but I was saying that what you're saying is so powerful, you know, and that I think it's because of the purity that you're saying it with, you know, because like my favorite impression of you would be at the Festival of Chariots with that melody that everybody knows, like, you know, that you sing with so much of power. And I feel that, no, but I think it's important because I feel your life has been like that, you know, strong, solid, based on strong, solid principles, like, you know, and I feel it's because you speak with that purity that it's so powerful. So thank you. I feel
Thank
smashed,
you.
but I feel enlivened.
It is a God to serve you all, right?
Prabhu,
But yeah, I mean, let's try, you know. I mean, it's not easy. I'm trying myself. You know, I wouldn't say I'm there already, you know, but I'm still struggling to be a devotee, really, to say the least about it. I'm still struggling to be a devotee. And I'm hopeful that, you know, with you all, you can help me to advance further and become a much more better person, you know,
Ooh.
hopefully.
You want to try?
Okay.
Tirumala is here and is so happy to have you. And she's asking if you do a little kirtan for us.
Ah,
You
I
think
don't
it's
know.
Hare Krishna? That's what we sing.
Well, I thought you say maybe a small bhajan or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, okay. Yeah? You can still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Okay, let me try. Let me see. Okay, I'll sing a small bhajan, right? Today, surprisingly, we are observing the Govardhan Pooja, you know, because we didn't observe it just the other day, you know. It was during the week. So for me, it's not easy to observe them during the week. So I always observe them on a weekend, on a Sunday program. So today, because we are observing that, I decided to sing a small bhajan and then get into the Hare Krishna for a short while and then we stop, right? If you don't mind. Okay. Jaya Nandaya Soda Tula Giri Baradari Gopal Jaya Nandaya Soda Tula Giribaradari Gopal Jaya Nandaya Soda Tula Giribaradari Gopal 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
You made my day. Thank you so
Well,
much. You made my day.
Thank you. Actually, it's funny because Maria Satyarani didn't tell me that Mother Rukmini would be here. I didn't know that.
I gate crashed, Mahaprabhu. I found out that you were going to be here and I gate crashed. Abir is saying, Prabhu, you make me dance, you make me smile, you make me cry, you make me laugh.
No, thank you. Thank you very much.
Inspiring. And the kirtan is the best, Abir says.
Actually, that's what you are made up of, right?
Yeah.
Kirtan.
Yeah.
Kirtan and Prasadam.
Well, prasadam, I'm very sure, but physically, it's made up of prasadam. Mahaprabhu, like, I so appreciate the point you made about appreciation. Because, you know, I was thinking about how in the Nectar of Instruction also it says that these loving exchanges between devotees, and I was seeing how it's all based on gratitude and appreciation. And more than I feel like you gave me what I need to hear, you know, to survive the next week in Krishna Consciousness. So I truly appreciate that, like, you know, that you're able to connect to people and give us exactly what we want to hear. So, so I would like to know that when you meet somebody and you want to share with them this joy that you have, what is your first move? Like, how would you, like, we're reaching into book marathon month, you know, and so to help inspire people, what advice would you give us to be able to share our spiritual experience with somebody else?
And I always think first impression last, you know, first impression last. The way you approach people, it's either they can take it negatively or they can take it positively, you know. So it depends your interaction with them, you know. And I think, the most important thing is to give them the space to express themselves, not you to express yourself, you know. Give them that space so that they express themselves, you know. If they want to talk, give them the platform to talk, you know. They ask a question or whatever they do. I don't know, myself, it works to me, you know. When I approach somebody, you know, first of all, I introduce myself, and then after that, you know, we speak a little bit, whatever I want to. If he wants to speak, I give him the platform to speak, you know. And then based on what he says, then I can answer or say something in terms of what he just said. You know, not me trying to impose my theory or my understanding upon him. But it's nice for him to speak to him about what he knows rather than what you know. Because if I speak about what I know, it might be what he doesn't know. And in most cases, it works that way anyway, because we are speaking something foreign, something completely different. As devotees, we speak something completely different, But it's nice you give them the platform to speak based on what they say, then you respond. I don't know. To me, it works. Maybe to another person, it might not work. But to me, it works, I just give them the platform to express themselves, then I respond accordingly, But again, as I said, one last thing that I would say about this is that, as I said before, the culture of Krishna consciousness speaks volume. Believe me, it speaks volume. Even for that matter, you don't have to speak to people. Just by seeing yourself, just by seeing you modeling yourself in the public, then people respond accordingly, and they respond positively. Just by seeing you, how you interact with the people around you. The culture of Krishna consciousness. I mean, what Srila Prabhupada is giving us, I don't know, it's a matchless gift, really. It's a matchless gift, I mean, I never dreamed of that. I remember before I joined, I used to want something. I wanted something, and especially since I explained those things that being born in Soweto, being through the Soweto uprising, the necklacing period, like that, And then I remember, when I stopped politics, and then wanting to explore other avenues, one thing that was on my mind all the time is that I wanted a better life. I wanted something different. I wanted something that nobody has. But still, I didn't know what it is. Because I never met Krishna consciousness. I just wanted a better life. I wanted a better life where I can just enjoy myself. I can be free. I can be happy. I wanted that kind of life. But what is that kind of life? I just didn't know. Up until I met Krishna consciousness. When I read Srila Prabhupada's books, I started realizing this is a life that I wanted to live. And then I embrace it wholeheartedly. And I guess that's why I'm still around in ISKCON right now. It's because I'm still convinced, that I'm practicing what I want to. I remember some times back here in Soweto, I met one gentleman, and he asked me a question. He said, "What are you doing in this Indian movement? This is not your culture. What are you doing here in this movement?" And then I told him, I said, "You know what? If you can give me something better than what I'm doing, I'll drop what I'm doing and I'll come to what you are giving me. Just give me something better than what I'm doing. If you do that, I'm willing to follow you." He never did. And then for that matter, I want to be in something better. And to me, for now, is Krishna consciousness. For all these 33 years, I never met something better than what I'm doing right now. I never met something better. But if somebody comes with another different things and he tell me that this is better and I see it, that is better, I'll definitely move on. But so far, Krishna consciousness is for me.
Perfect. Perfect answers. Perfect.
Prabhu, you've mentioned several times the culture of Krishna consciousness. What would you say is the culture? What is it?
As I said again, if you want to learn the culture, Chaitanya Charitamrita is just a book. It tells you how to treat a devotee. I mean, Lord Chaitanya, if you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, it shows Lord Chaitanya was respecting devotees. He shows us how to serve the devotees. Sometimes Lord Chaitanya will serve the devotees directly, I mean, sometimes I don't want to tell lies, with all truth, even without quoting names, right? I've seen quite several times, some senior devotees, and you find that if you look at them, we call them senior, but the etiquette does not exist. That I've seen. I'm sorry to say this, but it's a fact. I've seen quite a senior devotees, but you look at them, the etiquette is not there. And I'm not saying I've got the etiquette. I'm not saying that. I'm doing quite a lot of faults anyway. I've got a lot of faults and I'm still learning, But the point is, etiquette is an ornament of a devotee. You know, I mean, the materialists, they ornament themselves with jewelry around their necks, you know, gold and silver, you know, but we devotees, we ornament ourselves with good qualities. You know, that's what we ornament ourselves with, good qualities. This is our ornament. You know, so we have to, somehow or the other, learn the culture of Krishna consciousness, you know, and then we see, you know, I'll tell you something. There's 3 devotees, let me say 2 devotees, that I have learned what it takes to be a sadhu. I mean, I'm learning from many devotees anyway, but 2 specific ones that I will quote right now. You know, one of them is Bhakti Swami. I've learned how to be a sadhu from him. You know, and then the second one was Shamlal Prabhu.
Oh.
You know, these 2 devotees, they played a big role in my life. They showed me what it takes to be a sadhu. If you want to see a sadhu, look at Bhakti Swami. Then you learn what it takes to be a sadhu. You look at Shamlal, if you know Shamlal's life. Shamlal was such a sadhu. Was such a sadhu, really, to say the least about it. But of course, I'm not saying they are the only ones. There are other devotees. These are the 2 that I'm just quoting right now. You know, but these are the sadhus. You know, we learn from them how they model themselves.
This is how it is. We never know how long we have with a saintly person. At any point.
Hopefully reconnect. I don't know if it's signal or the battery.
Not sure whether it's a signal or the battery, but it rest assured Mahaprabhu's given us enough for a lifetime. Thank you so much, Mahaprabhu. Like, sure, I'm so blown away.
Yeah,
Every week we get more than we bargained for. And enough to like practice for a lifetime. It could take a lifetime to follow what he's just telling us. Thank you so much, Manjari, Mahaprabhu, and
everybody for joining.
Everybody for joining.
Yeah. Some nice comments. A lot of points there.
Yeah.
Gratitude and appreciation and respect and appreciating the culture.
And just the power with which he, you know, he says things. He never has to stop and like, it's there. It's
completely sincere. It's the sincerity of it.
When I grow up, I want to be like that.
I'm not going to be like this. Okay.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I guess that's it. Mahaprabhu's form probably died, but thank you everybody for joining us on today's Bhakti Journey session, and we will see you next week Saturday at the book club.
Right.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Some questions.